Hello again. Today we're going to tie this perch fly. This is a little roach pattern, just tied out of flash, dubbing, some dumbbell eyes. The hook is one of these. I'll put that there somewhere you can see it. It's a TP 650 by Arex with a 26-degree bend. That hook there with a 26-degree bend, meaning that even if I put a bead, tungsten bead here, or dumbbell eyes as I'm going to use, fish's hook point up as you're looking at it, which makes it's not completely weedless, but you can bounce it off the bottom. It's not going to snag on the bottom, basically. So we're going to whip this one out the vise, and then in the vise we're going to pop that Arex hook, if I can get hold of the monkey. Okay, I'm just going to lock that off nice and tight. Let's get it straight. Lock that off. Thread is Danville's. It's 210, and I've waxed the thread. I mean, it is a wax thread anyway, but I've waxed it, and it's just in like a bluey grey colour. But to be honest with you, I don't think the colour matters. And I'm going to start a little bit after that bend, or before the bend, whichever way you want to look at it. I'm going to run my thread down, not all the way, just a little bit of the way. We're just going to put the dumbbell eyes on now. I'm going to come back, and I want the dumbbell eyes so that I've got room for another two dubbing, two pieces of dubbing in front of it. So I'm going to come back a little bit more. Just come back to about there. That's about right. So we're going to put dumbbell eyes on in the fashion we always put dumbbell eyes on. Just crisscross, crisscross. Whoops. Once you've done a few crisscrosses, just have a look. Make sure we're straight. Make sure we're all good. Do a few more crisscrosses, crisscrosses. Always making sure. And then I'm going to come under the eyes, over the shank. This just squeezes tight all those thread wraps you've done before. And then I'm going to run the thread back to just sort of kind of coming round the bend a little bit. And then we're going to put a little bit of super glue just on those thread wraps. We are fishing for predators, and pike will take these. Don't be fooled that just because it's a small sort of roach pattern. You know, I've caught plenty of pike on minnows, and they're smaller than this, ish. So there we go. Right, now for the tail, this is just polar flash. So it's polar flash and some holographic flash. So it's this one here. I think it's 2009, which is the code, and it's a lovely excuse me, is a mixture of kind of oh dearie me, something stuck in my throat. It's a mixture of flash and hair. Now I'm going to take just a little bit of this, not much, about that much. I'm just going to snip it, and then I'm going to fold it in half. So just fold it in half. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, snip it in half again, and then I'm just going to pull these ends just so I get some kind of taper. There you go, sort of tapering out. And now I'm going to pop this. The short piece is going to be about the length of the hook-ish. The bulk of it is like that. Whoops. I'm going to come around and catch that on. I'm going to wind up just a little bit. Don't worry if the flash goes around the hook on you. You actually kind of want it to. And then I'm going to turn the fly over, split this 50-50 or as 50-50 as you can. Don't worry if it's not perfect. I don't think the fish are going to matter. I'm going to hold one piece back, come over just to hold it. Take the other piece back. Come on. These bits have just gone around the shank. There we go. To the other piece back, fold it over, and we're just going to tie down on it like that. And I'm going to leave that long for a minute because, excuse me, I've got a really dry throat for some reason. Probably should have had a drink before doing this. Anyway, I'm going to leave this long because I will be trimming it in a minute. And now this is some very thin holographic silver flash, and I'm going to be taking, I don't know, a bunch of it. Again, I don't count. I just take a bunch of it. I'll show you when I take this out. So I've taken like that much, and again I'm going to fold it in half. Oops, come on. I'm going to fold it in half, cut it. I mean, just basically I'm doing exactly the same with this as I did with the polar flash, except this I'm going to keep mostly on the top if I can. So I'm going to lay it back half on my side, like I would do putting flash on a trout lure. Half down the other side on the top. Keep it on the top. Ooh, look at that bit there. Sneaky. And then tie down. Oh, come on. If it helps to grab it, I'm just going to put a bit of wax on the thread, as I want to tie down on top of it. There we go. Like that. And that basically is your tail. All right. And now, like I said, because you will get pike on this, I'm going to glue this just to protect it from teeth. That's all it is. It doesn't add any strength to the actual tie. It just protects against teeth. And now we're going to put some, this is a material from Vineyards and it's called Flash Hackle. I use it a lot in pike flies. I like this stuff. And when you pick it up, make sure all the strands are going down. You see what I mean? They're all pointing down. Find the end, tie the end in, and if you can tie it into that wet super glue, if you're quick enough, then all the better. And we're going to run this up until the head I want to do like a bunch behind, 2 bunches in front. And now we're going to wind this around. Sweeping it back after every turn. Okay. And this is basically going to be our body. So every turn I'm just sweeping these fronds of flash or strands of flash and hair back. And then when we get to the top, I'm kind of going to do 2 or 3 over the top of each other. I've just done 2 or 3 over the top of each other there. I'm going to do that again here. I just want to bulk this up as we're getting towards the front to get me that taper that I'm always banging on about, right? It is important. It is important. Okay. So, these around a couple more times. There we go. Right, and now tie that off. Just catch it. A couple of turns, reinforce your wax. A couple more turns, hold it back. Right, mind the hook point when you're doing this. Just sweep everything back and tie down. And there we go. Come in with your scissors. We're just going to trim the flash hackle off. Okay, and now that's our body and our tail done. Right, now I'm going to have a look at this and see. I'm not actually going to have to do too much trimming on that, actually. I think that's all right. You just have a look at one. Always measure up against the other one, right? Yeah, it's about right. When I'm designing flies and coming up with flies or whatever, I will always have the first prototype on my desk to copy, if you know what I mean. This isn't the first one of these I've tied, but this is one I've had on my desk, and this is a direct copy. And because a lot of the time I'm having to change things. Oh, that didn't really work. Let's not do that. And, you know, some things don't work. You got to try these. I do anyway. I love trying different things when I'm tying. What would happen if I added this? Or what would happen if I tied it like this? You know, just experiment, especially with these streamers, because you want it. You want them to you want them to swim in a certain way. Anyway, right, now this is like a laser dubbing. And I'm going to take, this is quite a short fibred one, which makes it ideal for these smaller flies. So take it out of the packet and I'm going to stack and restack, stack and restack. Kind of got too much here. I'm going to take some out like that. And this just aligns all the fibres so they're all parallel with each other. And I'm going to flip the fly over. And we're going to put this on the bottom. I'm going to catch that. 1, 2. Just 2 turns just to hold it. It is 210 thread, so it is strong. So now we're going to take the same dubbing, but just grey. And on a little bit more on the top than the bottom. It's all about balance in the fly. So a little bit more on the top than is on the bottom when it comes to doing these heads and stuff. In general, in streamers, you want more material on the top. It kind of acts like a parachute. And I know these have got these lead eyes here, but also how you tie it will dictate how it does swim. Right, 1, 2, tighten up. Make sure these goes in the front. And now I'm going to run some super glue on this thread. So get some super glue on the thread like that. And then I'm going to come round and tie that super glue in. That stuff's never moving now, right? It's in there. So now I'm going to wait for the super glue to dry. Yep, wait for that super glue to dry. Lift the top one up, come up with your thread, drop it in front, pull the bottom one down, come over with your thread, tie in front. You've got to mind that hook point. I will stab myself because I always do. And now I tie down in front just a little bit. Now I'm going to get my needle and I'm going to run it through this dubbing like that, picking it all up and just neatening it up. There we go. Take my brush, this is just a pet comb, pet brush, sweep it back. Just like that. And the top one go in, bit one side, bit the other side, and there we go. Cool. Right. Now I'm going to put in some gills. So this is just, it's almost like a synthetic seal's fur, right? So I'm going to take some of this. Again, not a lot. You don't want it overpowering. It's quite a brilliant red, this actually. Just that much. And again, I'm going to try and align the fibres. This is really, really curly. So I'm going to try and line them up the best I can. And I'm just going to pop this. I'm going to trim this because I don't want it that long, so I'm just trimming it over the bin. And then put it out. Right. I'm going to pop this in the bottom. Come around with the turn. Whoops. Right in there. 1. Whoops. Come on. 2 turns. Okay. Now I'm going to take some more of the white. Put that on top of it. I'm going to take a little bit more of the white than I put on the top, on the last bunch. What I'm doing is stacking, restacking, stacking, restacking, right? Just aligning these fibres. There we go. Pop that over the top. Come in, 1, 2, tighten. Happy with that? And now this is literally like just repeat, yeah? So I'm just going to stack. We've got maybe another, this one, maybe another 2. And again, more on the top than is on the bottom. Come in. Get your thread between them. Make sure the stuff going forward stays forward. The stuff going back stays back. 2 turns. Tighten. Right. Let's have a look. Where's everything going? Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's all right. Cool. Right, now I'm going to do the glue trick again. This is literally just in case a pike's teeth like manage to get in between the materials and get to the thread. But to be honest with you, perch won't really do it because they haven't really got those sharp teeth. But anyway, right. lift the top again, drop in front, lift the bottom, drop in front, 1, 2, 3, nice turns, come underneath the eyes, come in front, and then we just repeat our combing process. So spike it all up like that. Some will come out, and you know, you will brush some out. Okay, you end up with loads of it over the floor. Luckily I live by myself, so I don't have a missus going, oh Christ, look at the mess you've made. Then sweep it all back. There we go. Right, now maybe just one more of these actually. So we're gonna flip it over, and this lot will be more again than I put on the other 2 bits. Oops, come on, get back in the packet. These are pretty simple as streamers go. They don't take too long to tie, and they are pretty simple. Now I'm going to tie this last one in. It's going to be kind of like 60-40, with 40 going back, 60 sticking out the front of the material. Just so I can get a nice long white belly on it. Come around with a couple of turns, and then take the grey, and again take a nice load of the grey, a little bit more than we did before. That's going to be enough. And then I'm just going through this process, stack, restack, stack, restack. Stacking a line, I should be saying, shouldn't I? Stack a line, stack a line, stack a line. All right, and again, we're going to do the whole 60-40 thing. Grab it, 1, 2, pull down tight. Do the glue trick. Come up. Put it back. Oh, we get another one. This won't be the last one. We'll do another one. So we got a little bit more. And we just keep going as we are. If you've not tried fly fishing for perch, then get out there and do it. It's great. I know I'm probably biased because I just like fly fishing for everything, right? But it is good. And you've always got that, you know, at any moment, a big old pike could just come and grab hold of it. Now, I use a 7 or an 8 weight when I'm perch fishing. Probably get away with a 6 weight perch fishing, to be fair, because the flies aren't massive. I use an 8 weight just because, well, everywhere I fish, or a lot of the places I fish, do have, they do have pike in them, so chances are I'm going to get smashed up for pike anyway. But I use a wire trace, even though I'm perch fishing, just for that reason of pike. But it's like £10 wire trace. It's 49 strand again, like I use for me pike fishing. But it's whatchamacallit, very thin, where it's only sort of £10 breaking strain, which is fine, isn't it, for perch? And to be honest with you, it's enough for pike. But when I'm actually pike fishing, I use a lot higher breaking strain. I'm just going to put a bit more on that. I'm going to put some flash under this last one. The last step, I think the last step on that one, I just put a bit of holographic kind of ice dubbing kind of stuff. I'll show you in a minute. So I'm going to put this one on there. Come in, 1, 2, pull down tight. Let's do another one of them actually. Right, now I'm going to take my ice dubbing wherever I left it. Ooh, there it is. And this is from Kindale Flies. And it's just ice dubbing in a silver holographic. So I've taken way too much out of the packet there, that'll do. I'm going to put the rest back in the packet. So again with this, I'm just pulling it, restacking it. Okay, to get all the fibres aligned. And I'm going to pop this on the top, come up with the thread, grab it, 1, 2, make sure it stays right in the middle. And then we literally just do the do with the glue, tighten, make sure it's staying on the top, that's good. Fold it back, and tie in front. Tie up to the eye, come back, just build. I'm going to say build a nice head. It's not really a head, is it? Because that's the head, but just build up a nice little bit of thread in front. Come through with your dubbing needle again. We're just taking basically out any loose fibres doing this, and we're neatening up because look, all that's loose. You always get that with laser dubbing. This is the way you tie it in. Okay, and then we just brush our belly back, brush our head back, just like that. I mean, you can brush these things till you're blue in the face, to be fair. Like that, and there we go. Come in with a whip finish. I just do it by hand. You can use your tool, do plenty of turns, come up to the eye. I always do too many of everything, really. Right, tighten, and then trim. Have a look. Just want to brush a lot of this. I mean, you see it all coming out in the brush, but I brush the living daylights out of these, because the more you brush it, the better your fly looks. Basically, there we go. Whoops, I just whacked the camera there, sorry. Hopefully it's still be in focus and everything. Okay. There she is. And there is my little roach pattern. I mean, once it gets wet, you can really see it. I should keep a little bowl of water on my desk so I can do that really and show you. The last thing to do is just come in with your glue. I don't bother varnishing this. I don't put UV resin on it or nothing like that. I let some of the super glue sink into the dubbing on the front. It just hardens the head up. There we go. And there it is. That is a very simple little roach pattern for perch and or pike. These also work really well for bass. You know, it's got a nice white belly. It's got a suggestion of gills in there with the red. It's very flashy. And it's a nice fly. They're good fun to fish. Anyway, you can spend all day trimming these and fannying around with them. You know, and I probably spend too much time fannying around with them, but hey ho, that's just me. This stuff always takes markers really well. If you want to colour it up, put stripes on it, you can do. But there she is. I'll stop waffling. It's a simple little roach pattern. Once again, if you've enjoyed the video, please leave me a like. Please leave me any comments. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, then please consider doing so, because it does help. And I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.